Hello. The film you're about to see.
Just kidding. Whew. Anyway, A+O, AB positive. Sacred Society. Amanita must not carry. And we just started this thing, me and my bicycle over here. It's called Explora de Terronius. It's only a little bit cold. I mean, come on. It'd be a person out here. Some berries on that other tree over there. Let's see. I don't want to hurt myself, so if anything happens to me, ask questions. We were talking about the manipulation between everybody, divide and conquer, sexes, corporate, capitalism, buying stuff, chasing tails, our own tail to be specific. Oh, the whole sovereignty thing. Yeah, if the money was fake and the sovereignty thing was kind of the straw man thing, if you will, if there's any grounds to that,
Which is surely it's fictitious.
That would kind of change the dynamic, wouldn't it? And we all kind of know deep down that, like, if we stopped working, if we stopped bowing, things would change. But the fear state, the bills, the economic system, etc., and we're not unified enough to go, okay, we're just all going to quit and start a new economic system right now. Right when this video airs, right here. We're on someone's live stream, right? We'll all just follow this one guy. Ready, set, go. And then the deception of man, it's hard to be unified when you always have that fear of someone backhanding a deal or something. And a little bit of distrust isn't the worst thing, though. And what was I saying? I was talking about the fourth way on the last thing, but the Hermetic principles. Oh, sacred society, yeah. Making a thing about, like, the hidden, mystical, part of it would be use regular words. The hidden, dreamlike nature of reality that we all experience. Because maybe that would get more people interested, because it's always like, oh, not everyone's interested in esoteric knowledge, gnosis. And I think, there is part of the spiritual ego, the ego in general, wants to be like, I'm so wise. Look at me, I'm so wise. So, here we go. I want to talk about Albert Camus and absurdism. And anyone who doesn't know about absurdism, it's a good one. And also some of the Four Agreement stuff. But the ridiculous nature of nothing matters in a sense. Everything is matter in a sense, but it's not even real, or material is ethereal. Ethereal is material. The ambivalence, the multifaceted nature, the oneness of life, but it also perceived as yin and yang, up and down, left and right, in and out. This tree's pretty cool. But yeah, I think part of a sacred society would be to spread the human experience in the outer knowledge as well as the inner knowledge, all the knowledge with all the people who are interested, and get people interested, even if they don't seem interested, try to catch their interest like you would do if you were a real loving, caring person, because just trying to say, oh, hey, let's put a bookmark in a book and haze some people or something. I don't know. It just doesn't stick with me. A lot of the what I hear about. I mean, I have a distrust for authority in societies and all this. So why does it even have to be a society? Maybe it's sacred. Sacred solo missions. Sacred solo missions, where you can link up with other players in your solo mission, but still remain the main character at all times, in control of your own sovereignty. Sacred solo, not society, something, solo somethings. Solo groups, sacred solo alliances. Because that's truly what I believe too. And there's maybe some distrust in me, but the world's in constant alliance. In the Civil War, there's brother against brother, and sometimes those things happen because it's so easy to divide people. And that's where I remember hearing it in Here and Hereafter that, there's about automatic rating and reincarnation. I don't know if I necessarily believe in this stuff, but I definitely try to subscribe to this stuff and or at least take a look at it. And it was like, we divide on like abortion and things like that, and it's really not worth dividing on. But I had something happen at work where I said something about that song 46 and 2, and this guy was right about to put it on, and that song's about human evolution. And he's like, I thought he just typed it real quick because I'm a real quick typer, on my phone. But it was a synchronicity, if you will. And he was even like, wow, I got chills. So that stuff is kind of seemed to be, it happened, and it's happened probably before, but this one was witnessed by another person in a sense, and also was deductive reasoning, and maybe our both musical tastes aligned at the same time frequency. It's not that random. What are the chances, etc.? Maybe you could do a probability and it wouldn't be that crazy. But you got chills, and I did think to myself, is that psychic stuff? And I remember there was a book that I picked up one time, and I didn't really read a whole book. I just kind of fall asleep on it and retain it. Yeah, just kidding. No, I scan through it here and there. I have a little ADD or something, but I'll jump around and look at different things. But it was Be Your Own Psychic, and it was a little book, and it said, these businessmen knowing how to do intuitive decisions, and people just trusting their gut. It wasn't so far-fetched. It was, deductive reasoning plus a little bit of trust or something, but it wasn't so out there. It was pretty rational, where I was like, interesting. And, it's maybe I've heard also with like Nostradamus and stuff like that. It's like not so much prophecy, but propaganda or something. And, that's why whenever everyone talks about, oh, did you hear this is going to happen? You hear that's going to happen? It's like, I don't want to worry about it, because nothing matters in a sense. And the powers that were want you to think this is going to happen, that's going to happen. And they don't want you to think, I'm going to see what happens. Because, maybe there's multiple infinite realities and timeline splits and all that. So you don't even know, like, just because you heard of that, like that could happen, but I heard of this. Or I heard, maybe I shouldn't hear about anything. Because just hearing about anything is going to be kind of tainting your mind. But then again, maybe you shouldn't fear hearing about things and give full belief system. One of the biggest things for me, I think, is fear. Just, that's why you got to laugh stuff off, or have at least some type of grain of salt, sense of humor, play some pickleball, call it a day. But I did think of this, and my friend even said, that's a good way to look at it. I said, pickleball is a really good test of your trust in the universe, if you will. Because you have to do your best, and you have to not think. Like Mushin, which is a samurai, they believed in the mind without mind. And there's a story of the guy asking the other guy, he tells him, your mind's like the sky, not the clouds passing through. But I don't want to go on a tangent. Random tangent number 999. But the one I want to, I think there's a way to hopefully balance things. And it's about taking things lightly, being able to go into the flow state and detach, and the sine wave. Who was talking about the sine wave, where it's like up and down is the same sine wave that's going like this, you know what I mean? So you're up and you're down, but the more you can realize it's the same wave and ride the wave. Easier said than done, obviously. But maybe even just the love of suffering and the hate of joy, if you will. we love joy and hate suffering. We try to love suffering a little and hate joy a little. You know, what does joy bring you? Complacently. There's that saying, strong men, hard times, weak men, good times. You gotta look it up, but it's from a book, and there's a little cycle. It's like four little sayings. But I'd like to leave with the same saying I've said before from Ben Zoma 2,000 years ago, which is, who is the strong? Who is the wisest? He who learns from others. Who is the strongest? He who controls his passions. Who is the richest? He who is happy with his lot. And who is most honored? He who honors others. That's from Judaism 2,000 years ago, Ben Zoma. Peace.